while the film has smile running through its DNA, it also has its own identity.
I'm gonna jump straight into this because you, in a lot of ways, like David F. Sandberg, and you got your start in big productions through short films like Laura Hasn't Slept, which is obviously the foundation for Smile. I was wondering if you could talk through that experience as someone who one day would love to make that jump.
You know, it was very surreal to go through that. I had been making a bunch of shorts, and I'd been writing scripts and sort of hoping to, felt like I was shouting into the void and just hoping somebody would turn and look my way. Never anticipated, everything that happened with Smile. I felt incredibly grateful just to get to make that film. But honestly, it's just about persistence and keep on making more and more projects.
Well, the first Smile is considered by so many people as one of the scariest and uneasy films of the past decade. Going into the sequel, how did you approach topping that and delivering on probably a lot of higher expectations that people have now for this movie after seeing the first?
Yeah, I knew that if I was going to approach a sequel, I didn't want to just do a simple continuation or retread of the original. If I was going to ask audiences to give me their time again, that I was going to try to deliver something that was unexpected and fresh and while the film has smile running through its DNA, it also has its own identity, and I thought that was a really interesting approach.
Well, while watching Smile 2, I was genuinely so inspired by a lot of the technicality of it, especially your eye for direction and a lot of the camera angles and movements that you do. Were there any horror films or horror movie directors growing up that maybe inspired your horror sort of, your eye for horror?
Yeah, I think again, like as a filmmaker, I wear my influences on my sleeves, definitely. I mean, Kubrick is my favorite director of all time. The Shining is one of my favorite films of all time, and sort of his craft is so inspiring to me. I also look at he's not really a horror film director, but like Todd Haynes is another craftsman that I'm quite obsessed with. Safe is one of my favorite films of all time. And then definitely for some of the atmospheric stuff, I look to a lot of Japanese filmmakers like Kiyoshi Kurosawa. I love the film Cure. That movie scared the shit out of me, and I love that kind of stuff. But yeah, definitely a lot of influences. And then I also try to look outside of the horror genre as well at craft and sort of try to do things that aren't necessarily what we expect from horror. I'd prefer not to be in a dark basement or a spidery attic. I want to be in places that don't scream horror, but it's the context of it that makes it really frightening and allows it to get under your skin in an unexpected way.
That's very present in the Smile movies with sort of the undertone of repressed trauma and such. In the horror space, there's a big talk online, sort of a debate at times about practical effects and visual effects. Do you firmly stand with one or the other, or are you more whatever is best for the film that you're making?
I think you're always trying to figure out the right approach. I mean, I love practical effects. I grew up on practical effects. It was one of the reasons I wanted to make horror films. And I always try to put as much in front of the camera as possible. I love a practical foundation, whether it's the violence, gore effects, creature effects, things like that, fire, any of that. I want it to be real. But I also think that VFX and CG can be a great tool, but I always want if I'm going to use them, to be a hybrid nature. I always want to start as practical as possible, take that to its limit, and then, sweeten it with VFX.
No, that's great. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely.
It has been
Thank
a
you.
pleasure.